Alright, you lot. Someone says we should boycott Battlefield 6 cause, and I quote, Battlefield 6 lead designer Brian J. Audette suggests Charlie Kirk deserved to die. Hashtag boycott BF6. It is being censored all over Reddit, EA forums and Steam. Spread like wildfire. We need justice. That's what landed in my comment section, like a flaming bag of moral panic shoved through letterbox. Now let's set record straight. Brian J. Audette isn't lead designer of Battlefield 6. He's not running all bloody game. He's a senior designer focused on level design for a single player campaign, with a specific focus on vehicle combat. That's it. One piece of one team on one part of one mode. You're calling in an airstrike on all game cause one bloke in campaign team mouthed off on social media. So I went digging. Found screenshots, sought deleted Blue Sky account, checked forum bans on Steam, watched EA mod swing hammer on Alt remotely political, and sure enough, Brian's socials are gone. Wiped. LinkedIn gutted. No apology, no defence, just silence. But here's what I clocked during my old deep dive. This outrage, it's got fuck all to do with game. It's a blood hunt. It's not about fun or gameplay or even justice. It's about being largest torching mob. And if this is how we're deciding what games are allowed to exist now, by scouring devs' personal posts and deciding who gets to work, then we're not gamers anymore. We're just zealots with headsets. And it's gotta stop. Comment didn't make me boycott Battlefield 6. It made me want to boycott bloody internet. What happened to us? When did gamers turn into church ladies with pitchforks, frothing over every dev's opinion like they've got stake in it? When did we start giving more a toss about hashtags than hit detection? This ain't rebellion you think it is. It's a bloody witch trial. Just digital and dipped in soy sauce. And instead of pitchforks, you got Reddit threads, report buttons, and a Twitter handle that ends in 247 like your Jesus with a Logitech headset. You want to boycott Battlefield cause of Brian's post? Fair enough, but where does it end? Do we cancel games cause a janitor voted Labour? Do we bin a franchise cause lighting artists liked a Trump tweet in 2016? This is what happens when your moral compass is shoved so far up your ass it's steering your game library. You're not cleansing industry, you're sterilising it. And I'll say this with all vinegar I've got. Purity tests are for cults, not launch day. This ain't Rage Against Machine. You're marching to an algorithm's drumbeat, thinking you're fighting injustice, when really you're just giving Twitch clips and engagement to people who feed on outrage. And you know what worst bit is? They don't care if you're right, they care if you're loud. Cause louder you cry, more clicks they get. You're selling ad space for EA. Your product now. You become billboard on your own moral outrage. Enjoy irony. Gaming was supposed to be escape hatch. Place you ran to when world turned into a flaming bin full of student debt and political screeching. It wasn't just pixels and polygons. It was therapy with a kill streak. And now it's a battlefield afoot game even boots up. Not between soldiers, between ideologies. Between twats with usernames like Truth Warrior 1776 and devs who can't shut fuck up on social. And that's real problem. It's not just Brian. It's not just Charlie Kirk. It's all of it. Moment we started dragging real-world politics into our games, we cite death warrant for fun. Pure, dumb, glorious fun. Gone. Replaced with moral panic and PR statements. You want to know why games aren't fun anymore? It's not graphics. It's not bugs. It's cause seconds you pick a side, game becomes a bloody lecture. And lectures don't come with kill cams or squad wipes. They come with rules, outrage, and walking on eggshells. Games are supposed to be where the world shuts hell up. You pick up a controller and suddenly you're a cyberpunk ninja, not a voter. You're a Viking with an axe, not arguing about gun rates with a dev who thinks a meme is fascism. But that's gone now, replaced with politics in every patch note, every subreddit, every bloody Steam review. This was meant to be our escape. Now it's a return at 6 o'clock news with extra lag and loot boxes. And worst bit, we did this to ourselves. We brought poison in, and then we had nerve-tack surprise when everything started to rot. Let me put it this way. If you're gonna boycott a game cause of politics, you better be ready to torch your entire setup. Start with your graphics card. Where's it from? Taiwan? China? You're playing your righteous boycott on a machine built by a country you probably ranted about last Tuesday on Discord. You tweet about communism on a phone made in a communist country. You stream your boycott video on a server hosted by tech giants who fund politicians you claim to despise. You don't play games in a vacuum, you play them inside a spiderweb of global hypocrisy. So if you want your boycott to be pure, Start by pulling your router out of the wall and yeeting your console through nearest Tory campaign office window. Because you don't get to selectively pretend you're clean. Every piece of hardware you use, every byte of game code, pass through hands of people who don't share your worldview. And that's okay, because games were never about purity, they were about escapism. You don't cancel a game because of one dev's opinion. That's not justice. That's ideological necrosis. It's like refusing to watch a film because boom mic operator voted green. It's not rebellion. It's narcissism in a player skin. You're not cleaning up industry, you're torching your own enjoyment just to feel morally taller than someone you've never met. And guess what? You'll still lose. Because devs will keep developing, gamers will keep gaming, and you'll be sat in a room full of silence and smugness wondering why your hobby feels more like a protest march than a Friday night. This whole purity spiral is bollocks. Big shiny bollocks wrapped in hashtag. I hate what Brian said. If I were in the same room as him when he posted it, I'd have slapped phone out of his hand and said, mate, do you want to be unemployed before breakfast? I don't care if it was satire, snark or sincere. It was thick as pig shit and twice as damaging. But here's rub. I'll still play the game. Why? Because I'm not that fucking fragile. Because I don't need to align my entertainment with my moral compass like I'm building a vegan-friendly playlist for a woke cult mixer. Because I can separate art from arsehole. You ever watch Joker? That Gary Glitter track hit like a gut punch. You knew who he was. You still felt power of that scene. Why? Because you're an adult. Because we've all lived through that contradiction. And what about Star Trek? That's been political since episode 1. Black women on bridge in 60s. First interracial kiss in telly. Queer relationships by 90s. You didn't boycott it, you embraced it. Because it were about inclusion, not imposition. So if you're suddenly acting like you can't enjoy Battlefield 6 because of one dev's meltdown, you're not being principled, you're being performative. You're treating politics like a purity test and gaming like a fucking church. Newsflash, you're gonna need to burn half your library if you start playing that game. And you'll still miss someone, because somewhere down code base, there's a designer who liked to mean you didn't. Somewhere in credits, someone donated to a cause you hate. And if you go hunting for all of it, you'll never play out again. You just sit there, alone, surrounded by dust and silence, because you've cancelled everything that dared challenge your fragile worldview. You want to know who actually handled this best? EA's moderators. Yeah, I said it. Same lot we usually roast for being asleep at wheel. Then nuked political threads on Steam faster than a cheater's KD ratio. Didn't care if it were left wing, right wing, pigeon wing. If it stinks of politics, it got wiped. And you know what? Fair play. Because they saw Storm coming and tried to keep lightning off servers. Meanwhile, player base turned into fucking moral inquisition. Threads popping off like popcorn. People getting banned for discussing a tweet. We're not talking about game mechanics. We're not talking about balance, bugs or battle passes. We're talking Brian's post. That's it. That's what got people throwing matches and throwing fists on forums. And somehow we're supposed to think this is about justice? It's ego. That's Reddit's favourite pastime, trying to out-woke or out-edgelord each other for fake internet points. And while everyone's out here trying to get Brian fired or Battlefield boycotted, actual conversation that matters, one about game, died on floor. Chalked out by virtue signalling and political cosplay. Mods tried to put a lid on it, and players pulled it back off and shat in pop, then cried when it started to smell. If you really care about game, you don't hijack community up with politics. You don't treat every dev like a politician. You let dev team do the job, and you judge game on what's in your hands, not what's on their timelines. But now, we're too busy playing find offended post instead of capture objective. And that's not on Brian, that's on us. It's truth nobody wants to hear. It wasn't Brian that ruined mood. It were you. You brought poison in. You opened gate, rolled in barrels of kerosene, lit match. And now you're crying about flames like you weren't arsonist. You think games are safe when you hunt devs down for posting political shit? You think you're defending freedom when you boycott games over tweets? You're not. You're just another zealot trying to police fun. This ain't defense. This is ideological turf war dressed up in gamer tags and fake righteousness. And you're one pissing in pool while shouting, "Someone stop them from ruining water!" You know how we got here? Because you made their post matter. You gave them power. You turned tweets into trial evidence. You made social media courtroom and Steam forums galas. And now you're acting shocked that everything feels political? It's because you made it political. And worst part? This what last fucking place. This what realm where we could be absolute misfits and maniacs and no one gave a toss to who you voted for or what side of fence you pissed on. Now it's tainted, because you couldn't keep your politics in your pants long enough to let rest of us just have some fun. You turned last escape into another battleground. You kicked door open and called it moral stand. But really, you just ruined party. This is full-blown virus and we're fucking hosts. Gamers, same lot who used to scream, keep politics out of my games, now comb through every dev's social feed like their MI5 with a Twitch sub, hunting for dirt, begging for outrage, and second they find it, the nuke launch, torch forums, and demand blood. You think that's power? That's not power, that's self-harm with a comment section. You've become exactly what we used to laugh at. NPCs clutching pearls, foaming at mouth, cancelling out that makes them feel. Except now, it's not books or films, it's your own bloody hobby. You're enforcing outrage economy like good little foot soldiers. And while you're out here throwing digital Molotovs at a dev who said something stupid, publishers are watching with popcorn. Why? Because you're doing work for them. You're burning down the PR nightmares before press gets there. You're distracting from broken games, scamming monetization and failed launches, all cost one dev hit post on a bad tech. And next time a dev wants to speak out, whether it's about a bug or mechanic or a real issue, they won't. They'll go quiet, because you've taught them that players don't want honesty, they want compliance. That's not a community, that's a cult. And if we don't snap out of it, there'll be naught left to save. Not games, not studios, not fun. Gaming is where we go to forget, to lose ourselves in stories, action, chaos and pixels. Not to argue about American politics, not to relive Twitter spats in a Steam thread, not to boycott our own fucking joy. It ends here. Join Discord, follow on X, links are in the description. Consider a channel membership to help keep Swearjar topped up. Smash like it, subscribe, drop your comments and questions below. But if you come in swinging politics, don't cry when I hit back harder. I'll see you next time, you magnificent.